Hello YouTube, this is Richard, founder of ShortTermRentalSecrets.com and Airbnb Superhost. You're joining us now in the third part of our mini-series, which is behind the scenes, all of the different details that we did to list a new property in Windham, upstate New York. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to think about the description and the title and the actual written word. I hope you find it helpful. Okay, so I just finished entering the description, and this is about 500 characters, or sorry, 500 words, and here's what I wrote. Again, I'm going to list it now with this, and I'm going to see what the response is, and I'm going to think about it, and I'll probably come back and update it in a day or two or a week. It's a perpetual living document, right? But for right now, my description, the summary is, decorator designed, brand new, custom built, 2016. I include that it's brand new. So, new custom-built 2016 ski-in, ski-out home. This home is co-owned by two families, and it was built specifically for 10-plus people living in it, plus room for guests, family, or kids' friends. The home is less than 20 feet from the Whiteway Ski Trail and is literally ski-in, ski-out. Come home for bathroom breaks, change of clothing, and lunch. Also great for hiking, mountain biking, amazing fall foliage, and mountain lifestyle. It doesn't get any better than this. And then I've indicated that it's good for families with kids and for big groups. Again, I'm sort of painting that, you know, when you're skiing and you're cold and you need more clothing, or it's a nice spring skiing day and you've got too much clothing, one of the beautiful things about skiing in and skiing out is you come home for coffee, you come home and you change your clothes, you come home for lunch. And if you've never done that, you wouldn't know it. And if you've done that, then you know I'm speaking your language. So I try and paint the picture as much as possible. And then likewise for the amazing fall foliage and mountain lifestyle, just planting seeds how people might use this. Now I'm at the place where I need to come up with the listing title, the name of the place. I only have 50 characters, which is really challenging, but it's super important. And this is an area where almost no matter what, I have found that as much time as I spend tweaking it, making minor adjustments, improves it. So I'm going to start with something. I'm not sure it's perfect. Again, I have this challenge of both the summer and the winter since we're listing it for both. And a few of the differentiating facts of this home versus others are that it's brand new, that it's large and accommodates two whole families, that it's ski in, ski out. Again, that's going to be much more relevant in the winter than in the summer. So these are a lot of challenges that I have, and I only have 50 characters. So what I'm going to start with, and I'm going to sleep on it and continue to think about it and monitor, is new mountain lifestyle family estate ski in, ski out. It's not that romantic. It's more descriptive than it is romantic, but it does talk about mountain lifestyle. It's brand new, family, ski in, ski out. So for now, I'm going to run with that and see how that feels tomorrow morning. This is what guests must do, add more guest requirements. I want government issued ID submitted, and I want recommended by other hosts that have no negative reviews. And even though these requirements can mean fewer reservations, this is a brand new, very expensive, custom built home that I own with another family, and we want as much security and as little problems or headaches as possible. So I'm going to add additional requirements. Suitable for children 2 to 12. Yes. Suitable for infants under 2. I'm going to say no because we have no cribs. No pets, no smoking allowed, no parties or events allowed. And additional rules, no shoes or ski boots in house, no parties, no smoking, no events. Please be cool to our neighbors and limit outdoor recreation and loud music to earlier than 10 p.m. Again, I'm going to work with that. I'm going to speak to the other owners of the home, see what else they want to add, but I want to detract and deter people that I don't want there. So anybody who wants to come and party or be outside past 10 o'clock or play their music really loud, they're not my people, and so I would rather put this right here and lose the reservation than have a problem with my neighbors or my home. Okay, so this is actually new since the last time that I've listed a home on Airbnb. I'd read about it, but now I'm actually experiencing it for the first time. So the default setting on Airbnb listings is now with Instant Book on, and you can see here this little lightning bolt that's showing you that it's going to be on. And Airbnb really wants people to have Instant Book so that guests can just go ahead and check in. Now there's this tab down here, which is in blue, require all guests to send reservation requests, and I'm actually going to do that. And they warned me that I'm going to miss out on benefits by not having instant booking on, which is I'm going to get less search, I'm going to have less earnings and so on. But here's the thing. Since I own this home with another family and I don't have all of my calendar dates set up, I need to go ahead and be willing to lose out on bookings if they're only going to book on Instant Book, because I need to check multiple calendars, and until we figure out sort of the lay of the land, I'm going to be really conservative with this. And you should think about it too. If you don't know your calendar, then how can you take instant bookings? So I understand why they're doing it, and if I was doing this purely for income, like this was an investment property and I wanted to rent it 365 days a year, absolutely. But since it's not an investment property, I can't rent it 365 days. I don't know which days I'm going to be there, what weekends, what holidays, etc. The other family hasn't necessarily decided it. I'm going to go ahead and require that guests give me some information about them and their stay, and then I will approve their stay. Wow, they really, really are pushing this instant book. In fact, did you know on average, Windham hosts who let guests book instantly got 32% more search views in the past month? Wow. That's interesting. I suppose I could do instant book for the summer and then just block off my calendar in the winter. And I'm going to think about that. 9 nights maximum. And the reason I'm doing that is because in this particular home, nobody's going to come all this way and stay one night. And it's probably not worth it for us. Weekends are probably when people are going to use it most. And so I don't really want to assume that somebody's going to rent it for just Friday night and then leave Saturday, and then somebody else is going to want it just for Saturday. So I understand that I'm reducing the number of nights that I may rent, but I'm okay with that. And I don't want to rent it for more than 9 nights because this isn't meant to be a long-term solution for anybody. Again, both families use this home, certainly in the winter. Okay, so this next section is incredibly important, and this is where you need to do a fair amount of homework. I recommend opening up another tab, pulling up Airbnb, pulling up HomeAway or VRBO, and look in your exact community, take a look at what other people are asking and getting, take a look at the ones that have the most reviews. What that basically means is that those prices have cleared, right? So if somebody has 10 reviews, whatever they're asking, chances are they're getting or close to it, and that's why they're asking it. If somebody's a brand new listing, they could be asking $1,000 a night, and if nobody's ever stayed there, it doesn't really matter. So use the number of reviews and the number of stars as a barometer for what the market clearing price is. And then if you're connected to Beyond Pricing, which I really encourage you to do, go there and do some work on the different market statistics, take a look at the occupancy rate, what the hotel rates are doing over time, and educate yourself on the pricing. It's really important. After all, you're doing this for income, and the price is going to be the most important determinant in whether you succeed or you fail. You set it too low, you're going to not make enough money and or have a lot of headaches and problems with people that are not necessarily your right people. Set it too high and you'll have too much of a vacancy, not enough success. And so the pricing is super important, and that's going to take a little bit of time for you to figure out as well. I always recommend, and I've filmed videos, pricing on the low end to get started. In this particular case, because we have a brand new home that was built in 2016 and I own it with another family, we've sort of discussed what we think we would rent it for. And we've never rented it before, and we're fine not renting it. So if we get our price, we're happy to rent it, and if we don't, we're happy for it to sit vacant. We're kind of in a win-win situation. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a base price of $750 per night. And weekly discount, I don't recommend discounting at all, weekly or monthly, so I'm going to leave that at 0. Okay, cool. So here I am. I'm ready to publish. I'm going to do what I recommend that you do, and just underneath over here you'll see this preview button. I want to preview this listing just like a guest would. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I always find that doing that sort of like review is really helpful, and then the product is better. I've been putting this listing together now for about 2.5 hours, which is a fairly significant amount of time. It's a big home, it's a new listing. I have about 50 photos. I'm trying to paint the picture and sell the dream because I really want this to result in the right guests and the right amount of income, and I'm asking a fair amount of money so that it's worth our while to actually do this. So yes, it takes a little bit of time, but if you do it well and you really spend the energy to do your homework and think about writing it properly and then review it in a day or 2 days and then a week or two and keep tweaking it, you're off to a really successful opportunity, and I think you're going to make a lot of money. So I'm really excited to go ahead and preview this right now and then publish my listing. Boom. Okay. So there is my listing, 100% refundable. See, like, I do not want that. I don't know why that didn't show up when I was setting this up. It might just be the default, but that's not acceptable to me. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. Extra people, no charge. That's not acceptable to me either. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. So you definitely want to go through this and make sure that you agree to all of the terms, because Airbnb has changed their listing policy and they're making some assumptions which I personally don't recommend and I personally won't abide by. So I'm going to go ahead and make these changes. All right, everyone, I've gone ahead and I've published. I'm in the preview mode again. I'm looking at it again, and there's definitely room for improvement. There always is. And I want you to be really transparent. So for instance, this house was not built with air conditioning, which people might just assume, but since it's in the mountains, it always runs cool. So I did not check that amenity box, and that's not enough for me. I've actually gone ahead and written here in caps, please note, because this home is in the mountains, there's no air conditioning. Be truthful, be honest. The last thing you want is 15 people descending on your home for their big, whatever it is, kid's 15th birthday party, and they need air conditioning and your home doesn't have air conditioning. Now you have a mess on your hands. So I always encourage you to be forthright and honest. They'll never need air conditioning, but if in their own mind they need air conditioning, then they should rent somebody else's home. Although what they'll likely find is that there are no homes in Windham with air conditioning because it's just not the way it's done up in the mountains. So I'm just looking through this all now. The other thing I want to point out is that it's really important after you publish to go back into the listing itself and click on every single tab, because as I'm doing that, there's just so much information that you can fill out, and I recommend it, like the house manual and the guidebook and additional details and information. We talked about the cleaning fees and the extra guest fees. These are things that are really personal. Airbnb is trying to make this as easy and quick as possible so they get the maximum number of listings, and I get that, but this is your home or this is your investment property, so you should decide for yourself what's important to you and not just take the default settings, which is what I'm going to go back and do. And I know this has been a long video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned from it, and I hope it's been helpful. So if it has, please go ahead and like the video, leave any comments or feedback or suggestions that you may have. This is about a community and we're all learning from one another. So I'm really appreciative, and I hope that you'll go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We've got great content coming out 3 days a week now, and I really appreciate your time and your interest. So I'm going to keep you informed as to how this thing goes. Let's see how much demand there is for a ski house in the summer with no air conditioning. All right, have a great day. Thanks.